Right, and welcome to the Talking Point Show on Unlimited TV and Unlimited TV Radio. My name is Idafe Machu. You love to call me the Unlimited One of Sports. I'm sitting on a different side, the what we call it, the seat of knowledge, and I'm trying to tap in from the knowledge around me so that I'll be able to give you the best analysis that I have. My truths, give you my truths on the questions that you're going to be throwing at me. But before we go into the show, let me say this. For those of you who work, don't go to work thinking, oh, I'm just going to work to earn my money. No. Go to work like you own the place, like it's your own, but not with an attitude to put other people down. But go to work in such a way that the people working around you, every time they see you working, even though they want to give up, they find one more reason to give their best. For those of you who don't have work, now this is what I need to tell you. Prepare yourself for the kind of work you want to do. Prepare yourself for the kind of person you want to be in the workplace. That when the work eventually comes, you will not be a stranger in a place that is supposed to bring you success. I don't know if it matters to anybody who's watching this video, but that's just the nugget I want to start. Now, the Talking Point Show, if you don't know, is a show where, the fans of Unlimited TV, this is the show for the fans of Unlimited TV and Unlimited TV Radio, where you bring up questions and I try my best to respond to them. And then you also have the right to actually give your opinion. It doesn't necessarily have to be a question. You can give your opinion about any talking point that is going on the sporting space, on social media, or other issues outside sport. And you can ask any questions as well. I'll answer them the best way that I know how to answer. So let's start with the first question that we'll have on the WhatsApp group. And then some people say, how do I join the WhatsApp group? It is pretty very, very simple. Follow us on Twitter at Elevated TV Radio. There is a pinned post there. The link to the WhatsApp group is there. And it's as simple as that. Just follow us and then you get going. So let me take it from the first person who's bringing the question today. Seems very long.
Hello, Elegbete TV radio show. My name is Matthias Jacob. Location is Korodu, Lagos State, Southwest Nigeria. Let me appreciate what Elegbete TV radio have been doing on this platform, creating for us to express our mind, to express what is in our mind concerning the world of round leather game, especially football, boxing, basketball, table tennis, and alike. Pray that God will continue to sustain this Elegbete TV radio show. We continue to move forward. My own take in today's show is in two parts. First of all, I want to talk about the Manchester United team. In your previous analysis, you are saying that maybe Man United have already have their next manager that will replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the end of this current campaign. Having seen the positive aspect after the winter break in the English Premier League, how Man United have been playing, really the inclusion of Bruno Fernandes, he has brought a lot of dynamic to the team. The team are now playing attacking football, having their eyes to score goal, because scoring goal is the problem of Man United. Now, Man United have started playing their normal attacking football, turning the midfield defensive to attack, from the midfield to the attack. Do you still think if Man United qualify for Champions League, or peradventure they eventually win the UEFA European Cup, do you think Man United board will still sack him to bring new manager after all these players they are now try to understand the philosophy of the man, their new manager now? Do you think changing the manager at the end of the season will not bring problem to the team again? Because we know that this is rebuilding. Please, Let me use your own experience as a great analysis and somebody that are playing this game before to look into this my own question. Another one is concerning the Real Madrid and Manchester City match in the UEFA Champions League on Wednesday. Ehen. Do you think Man City can win that match? Because I'm very much aware that when it comes to Champions League, Real Madrid don't joke with it. Please tell us from your own church mind, who do you think will win that match or who will qualify at the end of the two leg? First leg is in Santiago Bernabeu and the second leg at Etihad Stadium. Who do you think will win the battle and win the war? Thanks and God bless you.
Matthias, I think first of all, I had to laugh like the way you talk. Your thought process is so interesting and so fascinating. Thank you very much for being consistent, for being with us, and for also appreciating what we do. Now, Manchester United, this is what I think about Manchester United. For the good of the club, for the good of the football club, I think Manchester United need to let Ole Gunnar Solskjaer go at the end of the season. Whether they make the top four or they win the Europa and qualify. I don't think they'll win the Europa anyway and qualify for the Champions League via the Europa. I still think they should let him go, because if they don't let him go, this obviously will be the best of what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can provide, and then they'll become a yo-yo team, a team that is nearly there, just okay, now making it a team as big as Manchester United, now making the job, their ambition, just to qualify for the Champions League, not to win it and not to also compete for the league. Manchester United is a club that sets standard. Manchester United is a club that wins trophy. If you want to keep, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you're practically saying that they have come to the level of what Arsenal used to be under Arsene Wenger in his last 10 or 12 years. So I don't think that's what Manchester United represents. So for that, I think they should let him go, whether he qualifies for the Champions League or not. Manchester United, even with the players they have, are bigger than that. Now let's get past that one and go to Man City and Real Madrid tonight. Real Madrid are not in a place where I would say, oh, they are so fantastic right now, they can run ragged over Manchester City. But Manchester City on their own, they are also like a yo-yo team. They are not consistent. Today they are playing very well. Tomorrow they are not playing very well. Man City's biggest problem this season is the fact that they are their own worst enemy. Take a look at it. Most players who were in form last season and the season before have not shown that kind of form. Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, David Silva, Raheem Sterling has gone from hot to cold and injured. And then Leroy Sané have not played this season. Kevin De Bruyne, who is the most consistent player, have also found himself wanting. The highest goal scorer of the team, talking about Sergio Kun Aguero, sometimes comes out to become one of the worst players in the team in certain key games where you need him the most, especially that game against Liverpool at Anfield. So on those occasions, you just worry about them. Real Madrid on the other side, Real Madrid have been beaten by teams that Man City would run ragged over. But so we've also seen a Man City who took a 2-goal lead against Wolves and ended up losing 3-2. So I don't know which one is going to come present, but my smart money is on Manchester City, not because of my love for Pep Guardiola. I also love Zinedine Zidane a lot. Like I'm a passionate lover of Zinedine Zidane, from the football player to the coach that he is today. You know me, I'm obsessed with people who are successful. But I think on the balance of play from back to front, the full squad present, Man City seems to have a little edge if they come with their A game. If Kevin De Bruyne plays to the best of his ability, Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, anybody who plays, Mahrez and the rest of them, if they play to their A game, Man City stand a chance of winning at Estadio Bernabeu, which is the battle. They win the battle. And then over two leg, they also stand a chance of winning at home. So I think they will win that one. Whether they will live up to the expectation, I don't know, but I think they will win that one.
Hello, Better TV Radio. I am Olale calling in from Ayoto in Ogun State. Yesterday, Chelsea were mauled against Bayern Munich, 3-0. I began to wonder, Frank Lampard, the issues he's had with specific players, more like Arrizabaglia, the goalkeeper, actually not been in contention for a while. And I think for me, Chelsea will have it so tough going to the second leg at the Allianz Arena. For me, what do you think Frank Lampard has done wrongly in the past few days? I could remember they lost against I think Arsenal thereabouts a few weeks ago, and now it's against Bayern Munich. It seems as if things seem to fall apart. Aside from Tottenham game, I think Chelsea have not shown so much resilience playing against big teams. So, what do you think is wrong right now with Frank Lampard? Is it that his man management, his skill is affecting him, or his tactical prowess? Well done as always, Elegbete TV Radio.
Okay, Olale though. They didn't lose to Arsenal. They drew with Arsenal. They won the first leg and then drew the second leg 2-2. Bellerin scored that last minute equalizer. I think it's Manchester United that they lost against. But then they defeated Spurs and it was a double against Spurs. For the Bayern game, I'm not going to sit here and blame Frank Lampard and make it look like, oh, Frank Lampard is not a good coach. He doesn't know how to coach because he lost to Bayern. Take it from me, almost every team in the EPL right now, maybe Liverpool, exception of Liverpool, even if you add Liverpool, every team in the EPL right now will beat, Bayern will beat every of the 20 teams in the EPL right now. This Bayern team, the way they play. So there is nothing to blame Frank Lampard for. There are games where a team lose and you're like, okay, you had a chance to win this game. You have the players in your team that would have won this game for you. You didn't use them or you didn't play them. Kepa Arrizabalaga has not done well. I think I wrote something on my article, thanks to Precious Omosu who helped me out with that article on Opera. And we talked about the statistics did not favor Kepa at all. Kepa was also one of the biggest problems with Chelsea. And then Chelsea were also doing a yo-yo, win away, lose at home. They've not had the best away form, the Chelsea-like home form that they've always had, in the era of Roman Abramovich. And then at the beginning of the season, let's be fair. At the beginning of the season, if you give any Chelsea fans this position that they are in now and say that in the round of 16 in the Champions League, they will play against Bayern Munich, this same Bayern Munich, and they'll be beaten at home 3-0 and maybe go away and lose again and get knocked out. I think all Chelsea fans would take it. Chelsea fans would even have taken them getting knocked out from the group stage and then going into the Europa Cup. So let's not get into this madness of feeling bad and acting like, oh, Chelsea were within a shot of beating Bayern and they didn't do it. No, Chelsea does not have that team right now. They don't have tradition behind them in terms of this squad. They don't also have steel. They don't have a core. This team is undergoing a rebuilding process, and that is just what it is. It is either the Chelsea fans take it and live with it, or they keep going around mulling and, facing the banter that will come. Yes, banter will come, and that's one of the things that Chelsea fans are afraid of, the banter. But then you guys were bantering people when they were losing, bantering Manchester United, bantering Arsenal, bantering all the teams. So you would take the banter. That's why I don't get involved in banter anyway, because to me, it doesn't make sense. If you have analysis, if you have an opinion, give your opinion, but you don't have to drag other people and insult people into it. But then if you want it, I can give it to you if you push it to me. Normally, I don't think that anybody should be angry that Bayern that had Lewandowski. Lewandowski has scored over 30 goals this season. The total number of goals that only Lewandowski has scored in all competitions this season, that game made it 34 of 35. The last goal he scored against Chelsea. If you divide Chelsea's total number of goals, all competition put together, Lewandowski alone has scored more than 50% of what the full Chelsea team have scored in all competition. Then you see Serge Gnabry is in form. You see Thiago Alcantara. The entire team is good. And I know is beginning to come to form again. It's not in his very, very best form, but it's coming to form again. You can put these two teams on the same pedestal and hope that the Chelsea can get a fight. Chelsea didn't have a fighting chance in that game. So there's nothing to be ashamed or to be angry with Lampard about. It is just what it is. If any squad that Chelsea had fielded, Chelsea will still have lost to Bayern Munich. Let's accept that and then move on and hope that Chelsea will rescue their season and qualify for the Champions League next.
Yo, it's your guy, Roman, calling from Olokola. Yeah, I just want to comment about the Champions League games. Last season, the 2018-19 season, EPL teams, they actually got to the finals of the European Champions League and the UEFA European League. But it's as if that run is going to come to an end this season, except for the Europa League where none of the teams lost. I think Man U drew their match, Arsenal won, Wolves won. But in the Champions League, it's getting messier for the English Premier Premier teams. I wouldn't know whether this is the end of the road for them because Chelsea lost woefully, Liverpool lost, Tottenham lost at home, and today is going to be Manchester City. I will hope Real Madrid doesn't disgrace them anyway. So I wouldn't know what is it the end of the road for the English Premier League teams. Thank you.
All right, Rume, I don't know why you're whispering anyway. Please, next time when you drop your voice note, please make sure that you're audible. You seem to me like somebody who's got swag, who's got style. So speak to us in a way we will hear you. But having said that, when Liverpool and what's it called? Tottenham Hotspur played in the finals of Champions League last season, and as well as Arsenal and Chelsea playing in that finals. Everybody came out and said, "Oh, finally, English league is the best league in the world." And I kept saying that this is not how you call them a best league in the world. This is a fluke. It's a one-off, and it has happened before. Manchester United, Chelsea played in the finals at the Glishny Stadium. Yes, we've not had 4 teams from England playing the finals, but consistency is what made me rate the Spanish La Liga as the best league in the world. We've seen the Spanish teams always go to the finals of Champions League, finals of Europa. Sevilla won it 3 straight years. Real Madrid won it 3 straight years in this era. That's it. Barcelona always playing in the finals as well. So that's why I give them that credit. But what the English teams did last season to me was a fluke. It was a time where the other leagues, they were reconvening, they were regathering themselves, they were trying to put themselves back together. Now, competition have come back. And let's face it, the Spanish teams are still struggling. The Italian teams are still struggling. The German team is not really where they should be. But the English team can't find their rhythm anymore. They are still in the competition anyway, so anything is possible, anything can happen, we can see what goes on. But this is football, it is what it is. I don't think the English team are all that, the way people hype them, the way people want us to think that they are. They are not all that. So let's just accept it that this is the best that they can give. English team cannot sustain a run over 5 years and dominate. There's always going to be problem, and that's exactly what we're saying. So let's not get all fussy about it. Let's just take it that it is football. The Machiavellian principle, you take one kingdom to fall for another to rise. So the English league had their first fair share about 8 months ago. This time around, it is not going for them. But then they can still go and win the Europa League. There is Wolves there is Manchester United, there is Celtic, there is Glasgow Rangers, even though people don't consider them to be English teams, but they are British teams. And then there is Arsenal. So one of them can still go win the Europa League. So it means that the English league have dominated that one. I mean, they've been there a couple of times. Liverpool was in the finals from 2012 till now, or 2013 till now. I mean, we're having English teams in the finals consistently. So let's just leave it there and see that the English team are doing the best that they know how to do. And let's see how it goes. But I don't have faith or confidence in the English team. That's just me.
Hello, Elegbete TV Radio. This is Mario calling from Satellite Town. All right. Now, during the course of the season, the Chelsea fan base have had divided opinions about Frank Lampard's squad and his team selection. While it is obvious to the footballing world that he came into the season with a transfer ban and losing Chelsea's best player over the years in Eden Hazard, and him integrating more academy graduates into the first team, which no other manager have done over the years. But yet, some sections of the fans still thinks he's biased and favors English players in his team selection, which is quite absurd, and I find like it's not logical for someone to say to me. But now, as someone who played football professionally and as a professional football analyst, what's your take on that? Looking at Chelsea's current situation, do you really think anything of that nature is happening? Thank you.
All right, Mario, thank you very much for that question that you raised. Yeah, there's this discussion that Frank Lampard is auditioning for the England national team job, so he's grooming players. But let's be fair to him. Like you rightly noted, he came into this team with the transfer ban. The new order of Chelsea is always to go buy the players that will give them the result. Since the reign of Roman Abramovich, since, after Ranieri was fired and Jose Mourinho was brought in, they changed the market. They changed the dynamics of the market. Chelsea was part of the reason why financial fair play was introduced to football. Then they had this transfer ban. Yes, it was lifted. Not only did they have a transfer ban, their best players, their best player in Eden Hazard was sold. N'Golo Kante is tired. Right now he's injured. A few other players are not in the form of their life. Every other coach that have come to Chelsea have been blessed with a spine. A defense line that had John Terry, Carvalho, or, one of those people that you would expect to be there. A midfield line that had Frank Lampard himself, that had some of the great players. Some coaches have benefited from a midfield that had Ballack, Michael Essien, Frank Lampard, just to name a few. Some other coaches have benefited from an attack line that had the great elephant of Africa, Didier Drogba, a player who is afraid of nobody, who can go to the devil's house and rescue the chestnut out of the fire. But then when it was time for a rookie coach, I thought that a rookie coach like Lampard is supposed to even have some of the best players. But unfortunately, a rookie coach like Lampard came into the team. They had a transfer ban. Their best player had been sold. Some of the key players were injured, coming back from injury. And then these are rookie players. A man can only fight what is in front of him. He had to make do. He can't live his life and make excuses, because if he does, his career as a coach would die. So he decided to feed the players he's got. Now let's look at the current squad. Marcos Alonso played for that team. Cesar Azpilicueta played for that team. William plays for that team. Pedro played for that team. He has started playing Olivier Giroud. These guys are not English players. There is also Jorginho in that team. It's not an English player. So Willy Caballero is not an English goalkeeper. So when people say he's fielding English players, he's favoring English players, let's also look at that. Then look at Barclays, Mason Mount, and Tammy Abraham when he plays. Please tell me, if you take away all of the goals of Tammy Abraham this season, where will Chelsea be? Chelsea will be somewhere in 15th, 14th, or 13th or 10th. They will be in the bottom 10 of the league. Take away the early season performance of Mason Mount and the come off the bench performance of Barclays. You see, Pulisic has not really lived up to the billing. Or Hudson-Odoi too has not lived up to the billing. These players are given a chance and they don't take it. Yes, we don't like the way he's treated Kepa Arrizabalaga, but the truth is, if you look at Kepa Arrizabalaga, the statistics do not also say he has done well for Chelsea. He has done enough to justify consistent playing time. One of the ways coaches bring competition to their team is to bench a player that is not doing well. One of the ways that Arsene Wenger destroyed Arsenal was always playing players who were not in form. You play badly this match, you know you're going to start next match, so you don't need to raise your game. So what the coach is doing, what Frank Lampard is doing, is trying so hard to integrate competition into his team within the ambit of the numbers I had. He wanted a striker in January. Nobody listened to him. They didn't give him a striker, and they want him to let Olivier Giroud go. He tried his best to keep Olivier Giroud. So let's try and understand that this is not the mode of Chelsea that we used to know. So the expectation should be tempered and brought down. If we can do that, maybe it will be fine. But I mean, people will always talk. If he's winning, people will talk. If he's winning and they'll say, oh, he's a fraud, he's a lucky coach. No, he's not winning, people will talk. That's just the way it is. But Frank Lampard is a man on the job. He will do what is good for him on the job.
Hello, Elegbete TV Radio. My name is Omosuwe Precious, and I'm calling from Ikorodu, Lagos, Nigeria. I want to ask a question concerning scouting in football currently. I used to think that the job of the scouts in the club is to unearth, discover talented players. The club could sign them for very, very little sums of money, basically like catch them young before them blow. Yeah, like the way Arsenal got Cesc Fabregas, the kind of stuff. But these days, it seems the scouting department in clubs are no longer functional like as it used to be, especially the bigger clubs. So I want to ask, what do you think is the current situation with scouts? I know scouts are still actively employed by clubs. So is their job only to scout those big players that the club wants to sign, or what exactly are they even doing? Because I can't remember the last time any of those top clubs had a scout that brought a player through at a very, very cheap price that went on to become something reasonable. Thank you.
Precious, for a man who understands statistics and the details of this, I think this question you're just asking to hear my opinion. Scouting still exists. But you see, with Roman Abramovich coming into football, so many things have changed in football. Back in the day, there was the AC Milan prize, and then there was the prize for other people. Or there was the AC Milan, Real Madrid, and Barcelona prize, and then there was the prize for other people. But then with Chelsea coming into the game, it became, if you can't beat them, you join them. We still have wonderful scouts. Borussia Dortmund, for instance, continuously show that their scout work. Ajax shows that their scout work. Even Juventus show that their scout work. But in the way they do it, they look for players who are running out their contract and sign them for free. Having said that, if you are a Chelsea scout, this is no longer this is the day of the social media. This is the day of mobile television. This is the day of OTT. Everybody is known. See, look at the Hans guy that is working for Borussia Dortmund. Back in the day, you cannot tell the scouts who scouted Kano Nwankwo, Finidi George, Clarence Seedorf, Edgar Davies, and the rest of them for Ajax. Neither can you tell the scout who scouted the class of '92 for Manchester United. Neither can you tell the scout who scouted Ashley Cole, Francis Fabregas. You always give the credit to the coach who's in charge. But times have changed, and football is different today. The way it is run, the way it is managed, the way it is positioned. So if you are a Chelsea scout, if you go to scout a player once or twice, the crowd will see you as you're entering the stadium. These stadiums are stadium with electronics device. They will know that this is this person that came in. They will study the CCTV footage and know, okay, Chelsea are scouting our player. Who are the possible player? The day Chelsea make a bid, they will not give you. I can confidently tell you that the reason why Manchester United did sign Haaland, for instance, was the extra fee that they needed to pay to Mino Raiola and some add-ons. Those add-ons were not put on the deal when Borussia Dortmund came to sign the same player. So you look at these things. Borussia Dortmund would eventually put an offer to them and say, you know what, we can't pay you this money. What will happen is, when we sell him on, we'll give you the money. So it's a different bargain. Knowing that if Chelsea is coming to buy the player most likely will spend 6, 7, 8, or 9 years with them. So they'll say, give us the money up front. So the scouts see these players. But knowing the clauses and the conditions that would be tied to the deal, it is almost impossible to sign them. Jadon Sancho, before he went to Dortmund, was a player that is available for between 30 to 40 million. Today is 120. What football has he played to get to that level? Mbappe, some people scouted Mbappe for Monaco. It's not as if scouts don't work. The scouts work. And then another thing with young players is, when they go from small club, we saw that with Memphis Depay, go from one small club to a big club, the money is too much. They lose focus. I mean, when your dream is to achieve something in 10 years and you achieve it in 6 months, sometimes you no longer trust the process. You no longer respect the thing, because if it takes you 6 months to achieve something that every other person had told you by the book, you will get this thing in 10 years, you practically will not trust the process. You practically will no longer believe in hard work. You start thinking, the next 6 months, I would even achieve something that I want to achieve in 100 years' time. So those are some of the things that have killed the game. Scouts will do their job, but then what's the motivation of the players? It's money. When you sign, you transfer from one small club for 100 million to a Chelsea, and Chelsea now would, that club, maybe you are earning $5,000 every month, and then Chelsea will now give you 150 to 175,000 pounds a week. The whole story has changed. Your football dynamics have changed, and that's exactly what is happening. The scouts are working. I know plenty of scouts. They are working. There's not a scout that saw Victor Osimhen. It's Osimhen not performing, but right now we're hearing that the price tag on Victor Osimhen is 170 million euros to move from Lille to any club that wants to sign him. So that's the way it is. There are prices that are changing the way scouts see things. A player that you bought for less than 20 million, you now put in 100 and something million. So it's not what the scout will do. Scout will see, pencil down, and pass it across to the directors. But once the directors decide to bid for these players, the prices change, and then the scout will the directors will be like, okay, I thought they said that this player is supposed to grow over the years. And then when you sign that kind of players, you want instant results, like Yaya Sanogo Pepe. If they had signed Yaya Sanogo, Nicolas Pepe, for say 15 million or 20 million, nobody will be expecting anything. You give him time for the next 2 years to mature. But because he signed for that heavy amount of money, you got to perform. The pressure, and sometimes that pressure is the measure of the pressure, as Murphy Jemba will say, will kill the player, and the player will not deliver again. I'm very, very sorry.
This is Tunji from Ogun State. Hello, Mr. Matthew Elegbete. I want to ask on world-class players, what does a player need to do before you can rate him or classify him as world-class? Does he need to do it season upon season before you say he's world-class? I know age doesn't verify that you're world class. There are players that are 28, 29, and they are not still world class. And I want to ask that if a player is world class, can he become not world class again? An example is a player like Alexis Sanchez. When he was at Arsenal, people tagged him with the world class level, and when he came to Manchester United, some people started saying he's not world class. Although him not doing well at Manchester United was based on so many factors. I'm just giving that as an example that if we say somebody is world class, for example, and then maybe at some point he starts flopping or he doesn't deliver as he used to be, do we now say he's not world class? Or does it mean that once you're world class, you are permanently world class and you can't drop from being world class? So that is what I'd like to ask. What does somebody need to do? What does he need to show before you can actually classify him or before you can rate him as being world class? Thank you very much, sir.
All right, Tunji from Ogun State. You're the last caller on the show today. We really had a lot of you guys today. What class? What class is a tag given to somebody who's performed consistently over a period of time and sustain that performance that you can wake them from sleep? You can bet your money that this guy would deliver every day. Lewandowski is a world-class striker. Harry Kane attained the height of a world-class striker, even though his club didn't win anything, but his performance took them to that level where they were in the finals of the Champions League. Sadio Mane, Mo Salah, Firmino, the entire Chelsea squad, Liverpool squad right now, you can put them on the world-class pedestal. And that's how it is. He rub off on people. Pedro, when he was at Barcelona, he had a world-class rubbing off because he was rolling around people. But right now, it's not. Now, let's look at some other players who have been world-class players, but then either they move and then they became flops, and then that world-class toga got off them. It's like when you're using filter on Snapchat. There's a position you put your face, the filter will be there. When you move again, it will go off. So, Andrei Shevchenko was a world-class striker, a prolific goal scorer with AC Milan. He came to Chelsea, he became, he was an alligator at AC Milan, Italian league. He came to Chelsea, he became a world gecko. Mesut Ozil, world-class midfielder, world-class number 10 any day, anytime. He came to Arsenal, still world-class, led them to FA Cup, and then his game began to peter out, and he became a flop. He went from world-class midfielder, winning the World Cup, to a guy that even the German national team and the German fans don't want to see. Alexis Sanchez, as you rightly mentioned, world-class player at Arsenal, and then after that, his game began to go back again from a lion to a puppy, a piano player. So if you can no longer sustain that performance, you lose your status as a world class. Don't forget that it's a status, it's not a birthright. So it's more like a privilege, an honor that is conferred on you. If you don't live up to the expectation of that honor, you start losing what makes you a world class. Going back to the beginning of your question, what makes a player a world class player? So look at Ireland now, for instance. Ireland is scoring goals like they are going out of fashion. Is he a world class player right now? No. If he puts up this performance in the next 2 seasons, he's absolutely a world class, a fantastic player that you can put at world class. Some players start off not being world class. Once they hit that height of world class, they can't go down again. Ronaldo da Lima, Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, Zinedine Zidane, Thierry Henry, Eric Cantona, Marco van Basten, Ruud Gullit, Giorgio Ponguer, just to name John Terry, Vidic, Rio Ferdinand at some point in his career. All of these players get to that world-class level and you just can't shake them off their position of being world-class players. Then there are some players that they are good. They are just about on the corridor of becoming world-class, and niggling injuries in and out deny them of that chance to be world-class players. One of them is Ladley King of Tottenham Hotspur. Just on the cuff of becoming a world-class defender, one injury will come, it will start afresh again. One injury will come, it will start afresh again. And that's the same thing now that is happening to Harry Kane. So, yes, you can be a world-class player, and you can also follow that perch of being a world-class player. What's it called? Kun Aguero, the most underrated striker in the world, is a world-class striker from Atletico Madrid to Manchester City. But maybe because he doesn't have the rise and buzz around him, sometimes people forget that he's a world-class striker. But I tell you, yes, you can become a world-class player, and you can also fall off the perch. It's not a given that once you become a world-class player, you remain a world-class player. One player that I did not mention, and for me is world-class, is class upon class, is defied all the odds. His name is Zlatan Ibrahimovic, the lion of Swedish football. He is something else. Is incredible. So there are people, Andre Pello, world class, but he didn't start out as world class. I mean, there were times where Andre Pello's game were not too good, but then he became world class. Boban, world class. So you need to understand that you need to put in the work, the shift, and become that world class. I remember when I was coming up, I said I want to become the best sports analyst in my country and then in the world. I didn't start out that good, but I think at some point I became the guy that everybody wants to listen to. And then I got off radio and people forgot whether I even exist. Now we're doing the Talking Point show. Am I world class right now? I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm still very, very rusty. People like Precious Omosuwe, they've come in. A lot of people are on the block. Yes, I've got experience, but I need to prove this over and over and over and over again, where millions of people begin to listen to this show, watch this show. Then I'll say, well, I'm world class. And then other people begin to quote me. I'll say I'm world class. But for now, I'm a rookie, I'm a legbere, that's the way it is. That's a very perfect example that I can give. Yes, we've had fun today. I can't complain about time. We spent time. I enjoyed every question that you guys have popped in. I still remain here every day wanting to answer your question, wanting to relate with you people. If you are there, you're watching this video, thank you very much. The fact that you're watching it first, thank you very much. But please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the notification button so that when we put up a show, you get notified that we put up a show. And please do view and comment, because your comment make us know that you're viewing it, and you can tell us places and areas that we can improve and do that. And then for those of you asking me questions, how do I join the WhatsApp group so that my voice can also be heard on the show? It is simple. Follow us on Twitter. We are at Elegbete TV Radio. The pinned tweet on that page will take you directly to the WhatsApp group, and then you can join. But when you join the group, no unnecessary banter, no posting, no forwarding of unnecessary messages and pictures and all that. Just get straight. It is designed for this show and this show only. Do have yourself a lovely day. I remain Idafi, Matthew Esiogene. You love to call me the Elegbete One of Sports. And like I said, if you're working, be a person of value, the guy who makes the company tick, not the guy who makes people don't want to go to work. And if you're not working, but you're dreaming of working, prepare yourself now that you're not working to be the man that you want to be when you get the job. Opportunity will come, but if you're not prepared, it will come and it will pass you by. Do have yourself a lovely day. And thanks once again for watching. But I cannot forget my wonderful producer, the best guy in the world right now. Yes, McDonald Chukwemeka Oporocha. Thank you very much for producing this show every day. I love you. Bye.